video, guys. So I'm going to be talking about how cars saved me and how they can save you too. So stay tuned. Oh, my typer. We got another video today. So I'm going to teach you guys how cars changed me forever. And we're going to start straight from the top. 15 years old. I saw my dad working on cars, junkyard cars, pulling out engines, transmissions. He was always constantly working on stuff. And his constant devotion to fixing those cars and getting them running really started fueling that for me. Now, my father was very well known for drinking and driving and getting himself into pretty tough situations. He got into a car accident, landed 5 feet in the air. I think it was 10 feet, 5 or 10 feet. And the edge, so this column of the car right here, ended in his shoulder and he fell onto it, which blew my mind. About, he had a very toxic relationship with cars, but that never stopped him. You know, he committed self-deletion in 2018. Bless that man. Love my dad. And that's where it started for me. So after that point, I became the age of 17 years old, and I started going to high school, not really being popular, being an introvert. And I started drawing. You know, I always drew my own little drawings. So I love drawing dream catchers. Always loved drawing dream catchers. And self-portraits too, but I wasn't that good at it. It was mostly just dream catchers, merging images together, meaning like if I saw a heart and then merging the bruise marks on the heart through other photos. It was always constantly merging photos, and I still do art like that. If you guys want to check out my art, go to Instagram. You can check all the way bottom. You can find my art there. Not really good at it now, but this is what started developing the creativity side of me. So throughout high school, I had quite different influences that were bad for me. Smoking and drinking on the weekends, not doing homework, always driving me away from doing well with life and doing bad things. And I didn't like that, because when I wasn't sober or if I wasn't being busy, I was always being lazy and being slothful, and I really didn't like that. So at the age of 20, I decided to pick up my first car, my first actual car, not the Ford Focus that my mom bought me, which I hated that car, but it lasted me from point A to point B, and it gave me a humble beginning. I got an Eclipse. It was white. Needed a lot of work. It needed crazy work. I remember selling it because it was smoking black soot from the back, and I realized later on it had no coolant. I had blew the engine. And at that point I realized I need to learn to start fixing cars instead of being dependent on my father for this. And that's why I went to college. I put her in Chester, developed the skills, met somebody else with another Eclipse, and still in solitude again, still very alone. Wasn't really talking to much people. I dropped out of high school due to attendance. I was taking the bus to school, and my Eclipse constantly breaking down, constantly. And I wasn't over my high school crush. That's my whole life story. I don't want to go rambling on about it. But later on, it was just a lot of solitude. I got my second car. It was a red Eclipse, and I learned how to pull out my first transmission. Here's a clip of that. When I rotate the wheel. When I rotate the wheel now, all the dowel pins aren't. After I pulled out my first transmission on that car, I learned many things too off that car. Did spark plugs, coil packs, tires. I did so much. Exhaust work, fuel injectors. I learned how to tune. It was just so much. And I fell in love. I honestly did. The constant commitment of me working on the car and rejecting the poor society that I was around really encouraged me to start becoming more creative besides outside just drawing. So that's what I did. I spent all my money on that car and sold it later on to break even. But I will always tell people, when you get a project car, don't listen to the noise around you that tells you to sell the car or to part it out or do this and that. Keep on making that effort. People will constantly love to see that. Not only from you, but outside of you too. Your constant dedication to becoming creative and being consistent. And at this point, I became friends with cars and stuff for a lot of time. At this point, it just grew bigger. At this point, started doing YouTube stuff. I think I did my first coilover install on the red Eclipse. You guys can see that on my YouTube channel, so definitely check it out. And at this point, my heart just grew bigger for them because I recognized that the presence of my father was getting closer to me, encouraging me to keep going, And it never stopped from there. I owned the Celica that was black. That's my second car. That one burned though. I had a lot of mileage on it too. And then I had what was my fourth car? Was probably the longest car I've owned. It was the silver Celica, and I have plenty of videos. I'll drop a video right now with that. What the fuck? And then after that point, I finally met the girlfriend of my life. What you got?
I got.
What kind of candy you got?
I got Swedish fish.
Fucking trash. Get out of here with that candy. Motivational, you know, just a great girlfriend overall. Motivational, inspiring, crazy funny, and always pushing me to new limits, meaning like never adjusting who I am naturally, but always looking for the small stuff that she sees in me that will make me a better Juan. Cars brought me closer to my own personal relationship within myself, what I was good at, what I wasn't good at, and realizing that I didn't need people that much really, if I was so happy being myself and working on cars while doing that. Cars made me realize the fact that you don't have to necessarily deal with your problems by yourself, but instead turn that key, rev it to 9,000 RPMs and blow it up and still have a blast and be crying in your car, but laughing and having a good time. That's what cars did it for me, that a friend couldn't do for me back then. And I remember sometimes too, I would just drive for like 3 hours straight to go look for a car part, or it just gave me a life. It gave me a meaning. It gave me a personality that a friend never could. It gave me a purpose in life. And when something gives you a purpose, you're consistent, you're joyful, and even if you're by yourself, it will still bring you joy. And that's not planning on stopping soon. This YouTube content stuff is just another kick up to the next step, inspiring other people to appreciate cars for what they are, inspiring people to stay motivated, and making sure that I'm there for them too, you know. Like, I really see YouTube as I never had a friend that was somebody like this, so you always want to be the friend that you've always wanted. And that's what it was. That's what it was. I want to be that to you guys, reach out to you guys, and be that friend and be a motivational piece for you guys. And then the third thing too was the fragrances too. Fragrances were there for me too when I was quitting smoking back in 2020, and it just kept on growing and collecting over time. And that will never stop either. That will never stop. Now I think overall I have a total of 100 fragrances. I think it's absolutely crazy, but I love telling people this story because I just hope one day it inspires somebody. And if you have to get out of your comfort circle to find your own purpose, then I say most definitely do it. Most definitely do it, because it'll develop a tougher character within you, and the good friends will actually come through your life when you become that person, when you want to become the friend that you've needed. And it has shown that to me, and I've seen that in my life exposed to me when I became the friend I've always wanted. That's it. I don't want to keep this video too long. I love you guys. Let me know what you guys think about this video below. And that was my how cars saved me forever, really, and they still continue to do. I love you guys. You already know. God loves you too. Peace out. You won't leave me alone, will you?
No.
Who got? What did you say?
To one, you have a big ass.
Skeet it, Lily. Lily, I skeet it.
I get it.
Dale.
Leave it there. That's for later. That's for the umbrella. No. Boy, white, boy, backward, and then.